The airport was unusually quiet for a Monday morning. The cold blue lights hummed softly overhead as travelers rushed past one another, some dragging their luggage, some glued to their phones, others whispering hurried goodbyes. But in that sea of motion, one man stood still. Ethan Hale, the famous yet painfully lonely CEO known for his ruthless business empire, had arrived hours earlier than his flight. He often did that. It wasn't punctuality, it was avoidance. His mansion felt too empty. His life felt too loud. And the silence, oh, the silence was the worst of all. Sitting in the VIP lounge, he stared at his reflection in the glass window. A man with everything, yet somehow with nothing at all. He blinked once, sighed deeply, and returned to the emails on his laptop. Meetings, deals, acquisitions, none of which gave him the warmth he once felt when his parents were alive. He had buried them both within the same year. Since then, he worked like a machine, filling every second with noise so his heart wouldn't remember how lonely it truly was. Outside the lounge, however, fate was preparing a different plan. A small boy, no more than 6, struggled to drag a too-big suitcase across the shiny airport floor. His little sister, barely 4, clutched a stuffed rabbit and tried to keep up. Behind them walked a woman, young, exhausted, her hair messy, her eyes red like she had cried for hours. She held a crumpled boarding pass and looked around helplessly, as if the world kept moving while she stayed stuck in place. The boy stopped suddenly, breathing hard. "Mommy, when will we go home?" he asked softly. The woman kneeled and stroked his hair. "As soon as the airline helps us, baby." "But," the boy hesitated, "Daddy is in heaven now. He said we should be brave." "I'm trying, but I'm scared." His little sister wrapped her arms around him, as if she understood every word. A few feet away, Ethan stood frozen. He hadn't meant to eavesdrop. But something in that boy's voice tugged at a place inside him that had long been numb. Without thinking, Ethan approached them. "Excuse me," he said gently, "is everything all right?" The young woman startled slightly. "Oh, yes, thank you. We're fine. Just having a tough morning." But Ethan could see it, they were not fine. The boy looked up at him with big, watery eyes. "Sir, can you help us get home?" Ethan swallowed. "What happened?" The woman hesitated, clearly uncomfortable asking a stranger for help. But the exhaustion in her eyes finally won. "Our flight was cancelled," she explained. "And the airline won't put us on another one today. We've been stuck here since last night. I don't have family to call anymore. And money is tight." She brushed a tear quickly before her children could see. "We lost my husband 2 weeks ago," she added quietly. "We were returning from his funeral. We just want to go home." Ethan felt something shift inside him, something deep. The little boy tugged at his pant leg. "My daddy said good people help each other. Are you a good person?" Ethan almost choked. No one had asked him that in years. People either feared him or respected him for his wealth and power, but good. No one used that word for him anymore. "I'm trying to be," he said honestly. The boy offered the smallest smile. "Then you can help us." Those words, so pure and trusting, melted the cold walls Ethan had spent a lifetime building. The woman quickly intervened. "I'm so sorry, sir. He shouldn't bother you. We'll figure something out." "It's no bother," Ethan replied softly. "Let me see what I can do." The boy immediately grabbed his hand. His tiny fingers wrapped around Ethan's palm with innocent trust. Ethan froze for a second. The last time a child held his hand was decades ago, his little brother, who had passed away from illness at age 5. The memory washed over him like a tidal wave. "Come," Ethan said after a moment. "Let's go speak with the airline." At the counter, the agent politely repeated what the woman had already heard. "Flight's full, no rebooking until tomorrow, no exceptions." Ethan pulled out his business card and placed it on the counter. The agent's eyes widened. "Hale Industries, are you?" "Yes," he said simply. "And I would appreciate it if you could find seats for this family. First available flight." The agent typed furiously, her face turning pale. Within seconds, she found 3 seats on a flight leaving in 40 minutes. "Done," she said quickly. And the airline apologizes for the inconvenience. The woman exhaled sharply as tears welled again. Thank you. Thank you so much. But the boy looked up at Ethan with pure joy. You are a good person. Ethan felt warmth spread across his chest, a warmth he hadn't felt in years. They walked toward security together. The little girl, who had been silent, suddenly reached up and motioned for Ethan to carry her. The mother gasped. Sweetie, no, mister. Hale is busy. But Ethan smiled and gently lifted the child into his arms. She quietly rested her head on his shoulder, her tiny fingers gripping his coat. Her trust undid him completely. At security, Ethan placed her down and handed their bag to the officer. The boy stayed close to him, like he didn't want him to leave. Then, just before they entered the gate area, the boy hugged Ethan tightly around the waist. Thank you, sir, he whispered. I miss my daddy. But today, I wasn't scared. Because you were with us. Ethan felt his heart crack open. The mother stepped forward, her voice shaking. I wish there were words to thank you. You helped us when no one else stopped. Why did you do all this for strangers? Ethan didn't answer immediately. He took a deep breath. Because once, he said quietly, I needed help too. And no one stopped. She stared at him with soft understanding. Sir. The boy said again, tugging at his sleeve. Will we see you again? Ethan knelt, suddenly aware of how deeply he wanted to say yes. Only if your mom is okay with it, he replied. The woman looked surprised. You want to see us again? Ethan nodded slowly. If you'd allow it. She smiled, a small, grateful smile. I think, we would like that. The boarding announcement called their flight. The boy hugged him again. The little girl blew him a kiss. And the mother, eyes full of warmth, whispered, Thank you, for giving us hope today. Ethan stood at the glass window long after their plane took off, watching it disappear into the clouds. For the first time in years, he didn't feel empty. He didn't feel alone. He felt needed. And that changed everything. But fate wasn't finished weaving its story. 2 weeks later, Ethan found himself standing outside a small, cozy house in a quiet neighborhood. He held a box of toys, unsure why he was nervous. The door opened, and the little boy raced toward him with a squeal of joy. You came, he shouted. Mom said you might not remember us, but I said you would because you're a good person. Ethan laughed, a real laugh, not the polite one he used at corporate dinners. He swooped the boy up, spinning him around. The little girl ran outside next, her bunny in hand. She hugged his leg tightly. Then the mother appeared in the doorway. She wore a simple dress, her hair neatly tied back, her face calmer than before. Yet when she saw Ethan, her expression softened into something warm, something hopeful. I'm really glad you came, she said, her voice gentle. Me too, he replied, feeling something unfamiliar flutter in his chest. They spent the afternoon together, laughing, talking, cooking simple food in the kitchen while the children drew pictures for Ethan. He admired every one of them as if they were priceless art. As the sun began to set, the children played in the living room while Ethan and the mother sat quietly outside. They adore you, she said softly. Ethan looked down. I adore them too. She smiled. You brought something back into their lives, she continued. Something they lost when their father passed. What's that? Ethan whispered. Safety, she said. Kindness. Warmth. Ethan swallowed hard. I'm not sure I deserve that. Maybe not before, she said gently. But now, you're trying. And that's enough. He exhaled, feeling a weight lift. The boy suddenly rushed outside. Sir, come see. I drew you a picture. They followed him inside. On the table was a drawing of 4 people holding hands, himself, the boy, the girl, and their mom. Above them were scribbled words, our family now. Ethan's throat tightened painfully. The mother knelt beside her son. Sweetheart, Mr. Hale is our friend. We don't want him to feel pressured. But Ethan placed his hand over the drawing, feeling something he never thought he'd feel again. I would like that, he said quietly. The mother looked up sharply. Are you sure? For the first time in years, Ethan replied, voice trembling, I am sure of something. She held his gaze for a long moment. Then she smiled, a soft, beautiful smile that made something inside him bloom. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Ethan became a constant presence in their lives. School drop-offs, bedtime stories, family dinners, small Saturday adventures to the park. The children clung to him like he was their lifeline. And slowly, gently, the mother allowed herself to trust again. One evening, after putting the children to bed, Ethan stood on the porch with her as the stars glimmered above. "You changed me," he said quietly. "Your children, you, gave me a reason to live again." She looked at him with tears in her eyes. "And you gave us hope when we were shattered." He took her hand, softly, carefully, as if she were made of light. "Can I stay?" he asked. She squeezed his hand. "You already have." And just like that, the lonely CEO who once wandered through airports with an empty heart found something he never expected: love, family, and a home he never knew he needed. Not in a mansion filled with silence, but in a small house where a boy had once asked him, "Sir, can you help us get home?" Turns out, they all got home that day. Together.